Listen, it's something about when that beat gets good to you. Hey, y'all, it's Monday. Can you believe it? But like, I mean, I just gotta turn this up for a minute because like this music is like, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, yo. It's just like that. Like I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. Happy Monday to y'all. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. This is our third evening of Meet the Author. And I'm so excited that you're getting ready to meet the authors of I Am Stronger Than the Storm. Y'all, I'm so proud of this project. It's such a beautiful book. Like it's such a beautiful, beautiful book. And I'm just proud of it. I'm proud of it. A lot of us were able to get our copies over the weekend. And so if you have not ordered a copy of the book yet, I'm wanting you to support one of the young ladies that are on the live tonight. So listen, I'm excited to have y'all here, but this music just feels real good to me. I'm gonna bring everybody on. Hey, oh, hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Hi.
I mean, am I the only one that just like ha 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 ho? Like Maria's like, it's been 20 years of her madness, and all I'm gonna do is laugh at her.
That's funny.
Y'all, Maria has known me. Man, we were what? 24? 20? Not even that. No, 22?
I think I was 24 when I met you.
Yeah. I was like 23 or something like that. And we've just been great friends ever since. Y'all, it's always good when you have those friends who they go through the storms with you. Yes. And they don't judge you for it. Thank God she recognizes the change in me. Hallelujah. Let me turn this down. I mean, what the world? Me? Y'all was jamming loud. Like, what it do?
Yes, you were.
Yeah, I was jamming loud.
It's okay, though. I understand.
It's okay. Listen, y'all, I'm really excited to introduce you to all of the ladies that are on here tonight. I want to introduce you to Maria N. Jenkins. We have Angela Sullivan, Devita J. Parke, and Chantay West. Chantay West. Chantay, you got that famous last name, girl.
Thank you.
I mean, what do people say? Like, do people like bother you about that all the time?
They used to when I was younger. Like, what was I related to, like Kanye?
Yeah,
not really. Yeah.
Did you honestly? Did you ever lie and be like, "Yeah, that's my uncle"?
No, I never really felt him like that.
I would have done that. I wouldn't have had to feel him. Kanye would have been my uncle or my cousin or something when I was younger. Like, he would have been related to me. Maria, you got that name, Maria. I know you went through it because I was one who sang it to you.
Yes, you were.
All the time. Every time I would see you at work, it was Maria. Like that it was necessary. It was absolutely necessary. And then you got people like me, Tamika, and then you got Devita. Did you have people that mispronounced your name, Devita?
So no. So actually, my maiden name is Henson. And so I would rap Matthew Henson.
Would you?
I did.
Well, and that's some good stock to come from too. So, but people have to know a little bit about their history to understand who he was. So did you then have to like go into all the history of who he was?
No, because I was hoping they didn't do all of that. That they would just, let it ride and let me have that moment.
Yes.
That's what I was hoping.
I have to be honest. When I was in I think it was either in 4th or 6th grade, it was one of those grades. Regardless, I lied. So I shouldn't like even be talking about it. But we had to do a family tree. I wasn't doing a family tree. And so y'all know Amos Fortune, who was like the African, like the African prince that had been captured and brought over and stuff like that. So I wrote this beautiful report on Amos Fortune. Like it said that he was a family member of mine. And I was in school in Utah at the time. So they just accepted it. And they were just like, you're the second person that we know of African-American descent who comes from royalty. And I was just like, I mean, what can I say? Amos Fortune is like my great 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 grandpa or something. But they didn't even like check. Y'all, listen, I got an A on that project. We're not telling you to lie to get through your storm, friends.
No, we're not. We're
not telling you to lie. And then Angela, okay. So Angela, you have an easier name out of everybody. Did anybody like ever like say anything about your name? Did you want to change your name? Since we're talking about names, it's like, who starts off like this? Hold on, you're muted. There you go. What'd you say?
Okay, I've never wanted to change my name. I had some people that says Angel, and I'm like, no, my name is not Angel, it's Angela. You know, add an A on that.
That's right. So were they trying to call you Angel for short?
Yes, they were.
First of all, how are you going to shorten somebody's name by one letter? Are we that lazy as a society that we can't say the whole name? Like, what are we doing?
I don't know. I think we had a little disagreement one time, and she was like, okay, Miss Angel. And I'm like, no, don't get it mixed up. I'm not Miss Angel, I'm Angela.
Right. I mean, if you're going to call me Miss Anybody, then like, get it right. I mean, what is
right
with you? So listen, you guys, I'm excited to have you here. 4 more authors from I Am Stronger Than the Storm. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to everybody joining us. I see you already logging in from Facebook and YouTube and on Amazon Live. Y'all are blessing my life and give me the glads. Do us all a favor, share this out with your folks. Share it out. Y'all send them a text. We want you to get on people's nerves and tell them, look, we love you in the name of Jesus Christ, but this is an interview that you need to be a part of. Okay, I'm just saying, y'all, it's just something good to just kick off your week. So I'm excited to have everybody here. Let's just go ahead and give a couple of shout outs. Y'all, Cassandra was hanging out before we even started. She was letting people know to like, share, and subscribe. So Cassandra, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Mercy, I want to say hello to you. This is another one of the international bestsellers. Her and Cassandra are hanging out. Good evening to you. We have Cherie Warren here. Good evening, love it. Y'all, Cherie was preaching up something last week, wasn't she? She was preaching up something. So if y'all missed her, you're going to want to go back and you guys are going to want to see the last 2 episodes that were there. We have Pastor Lisa Armstrong that's hanging out with us. Hey, Pastor Lisa, how are you? Y'all, we got Chantay that is in the house. That's another one of our ladies from the project. This is so awesome. I love it when we just support each other. We have Linnea. Linnea said she wanted to pop on in. Well, Linnea, you're going to hear your name when you come back in the replay. Yes, ma'am, Linnea. Cassandra says, Devita, she said green looks pretty on you.
Thank you.
I have fallen in love with that shade of green, like over the last year. I have fallen in love with that shade of green. And you do look beautiful in that. I love it. Yes. Maya, I see you hanging out with us. Good evening to you. Oh, Lord, Cherie said, don't start nothing, Dr. T. Don't you start nothing, because I know you now. Like, I know you now. Now you'll get started in the comments. Don't get us started, Cherie. Don't you get us started. So, ladies, I just want to talk to you. I Am Stronger Than the Storm. Reactions. Like, what are reactions to the book so far? And anybody can go ahead and get started.
It's been a lot of positive feedback. I'm a super transparent person. I just don't think a lot of people expected that to come from me as far as like with the edibles and that sort of thing. But it's my reality and it's my truth. And I wasn't going to hide that. You know, sometimes I think people like to hide certain things to make themselves, to be more than what they portray themselves to be. That's not the case. I wanted you to see and understand all that I endured and what I went through.
Yeah, and I can't wait for us to get into everybody's story tonight because none of you look like what you've been through. And I'm so glad that none of us look like that. That's not the case. Somebody else, reactions to your chapter, to the overall book.
One of the reactions I received was from a Facebook friend that I didn't know. She reached out to me after she read my chapter, and she thanked me for the work that I've done in mental health and addiction. And that meant a lot. It really meant a lot to me.
That's beautiful. I love that. Angela, reactions.
Yes, I've had a couple people that reach out to me and they congratulated me on writing. I didn't think that I could do it, but I did. So I was being obedient, and it's just a blessing and an honor to be in such an amazing anthology. So once again, I thank you, Dr. Hall, and I thank each and every one of the authors. Everybody did an amazing job. The chapters are awesome.
Oh my gosh, they really, really are. They really, really are. I'm so excited that you've had people congratulating you and what have you. Chantay, what about you? Reactions?
It's been amazing. Like, just the congratulations overall. You know, just so many well wishes and support, and it actually was a step of faith for me. So I'm just thankful.
The reactions have just been amazing, and I've been saying this every time we come on, that the Lord spoke record breaking over this book. And I remember I said to all of you, I said, the Lord said it. I wrote it down, but I even said to the Lord, I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that looks like. but it has been record breaking. And for those that, if this is your first time joining us while we are on the Meet the Author tour, I just want to let you know that, y'all, we hit 14 bestsellers categories, 4 of which were #1. We also were bestsellers in 3 categories over in the UK. I mean, so we were bestsellers in 2 different countries. That's something that we had never done. And then we also hit the top 100 list overall of Amazon as a whole. Like, I've been publishing since 2005, and I've never done that. Like, that is just incredible. And I know last year published well over 20 anthologies last year. None of them had ever done that. And so when the Lord spoke record breaking, that's exactly what he meant. And I look at even the reviews of what people are saying about the book. People are really seeing themselves in this book. They're really seeing themselves in this book. And I'm just so honored that you all came and that you shared your story. Y'all, Mom Carol's in the house. Y'all know, we got to give a shout out to Mom Carol. Mom, yeah. Mom is in the house. We have, I think you pronounce your name. Is it Sharia or Sharia West? Chantay, how do I pronounce that? Is that one of your peeps? I'm going to unmute you. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, let's see here. Chantay, I don't know. I can't unmute you, lovey. Let's see here. Mom, Alicia's over on Amazon Live, and she just said, hey, Mom Carol. Chantay, if you can hear me, jump out and then come back in. I think that it may have frozen. Y'all, Wi-Fi just wants to act up at the wrong time of day. There you are, Chantay. Let me see. Let's see here. Okay, so Chantay, jump back in there. I want to ask you all, what drew you to the project? I Am Stronger Than the Storm. And y'all do not have to say anything nice about me. I'm just legitimately interested in what drew you guys to the project.
Well, I've been following you for years, and I've been waiting for an opportunity to be able to do this whole collaboration thing. We've talked about that on our one-on-one call. So once the opportunity presented itself in prayer and everything, it was a green light. So I was going to jump on. And any other project you have going forward.
I adore you. Y'all, like, I just can't before y'all have me crying up here. Y'all know I'm a big baby. The only one that's probably a bigger baby than me is Maria. So yeah, she's probably the only other one. Like, I just can't. Shira West. Okay, darling. Shira West. Gotcha. Angela, what drew you to the project?
Actually, it was obedience. Several years ago, when I was going through a storm, God told me that I would write, and there were a lot of naysayers. But when I saw the opportunity, I didn't hesitate. I just signed up. I didn't have no idea what I was getting myself into. But anyway, I took a leap of faith and I signed up. So here I am. So for me, it was just, I'm going to say it was the grace of God. It was the ordering of my steps. And I was obedient.
Oh, I love that. Obedient. I love that. That's beautiful. Chantay, what drew you to the project?
I actually always wanted to be an author, and I was gonna go for purpose in my pain, but I let fear get in the way. So when this opportunity came back around, I decided I was just gonna take a leap and go for it.
Well, I'm so glad that you did. And y'all, listen, for anybody that's ever afraid to work with me, listen, I am a trip. I'm definitely a trip. So what you see on camera is what everybody gets behind the scenes, you know. But I'm gonna tell you, our time together was very different. Like Maria, you were part of Purpose in My Pain, and we had some really great moments, but these times were just different because I think all of us definitely went through some type of storm or storms. And I know that there were moments where y'all had to hold my hands up, you know, during this project. And I mean, how did y'all deal with the storms that you encountered because you said yes to this project? Maria?
Talk about warfare. Goodness gracious. It
Yeah.
was coming from every side, it seemed like. From every side. Definitely.
It's
But
almost as if we had to be muzzled, or we were supposed to be muzzled. That's how it felt. So yeah, you're right. The warfare.
You just had to push our way through. We had to push, you know, just don't give up. Just keep going, no matter what, you know. You take a break, but then you pick back up, keep going, just keep going, you know.
Yeah.
It
Chantay,
definitely
what are
was a
your
lot
thoughts?
of it definitely was a lot of warfare. Definitely a lot of journaling, prayer, and fasting.
It was, and Devita, you said it, I think, perfectly, where the enemy was literally trying to muzzle all of us. I mean, like, and it just, I know for me at one point, I just found myself just not wanting to do anything. And so I'm kind of wanting to discuss this with everybody that's tuned in listening, because if you are going through your own storm, it is natural, it is normal to feel like I just want to give up. I'm just over this. Let me just shut my mouth and let me just go my own way. But there definitely was a blessing in the press. Like there definitely was. There was a blessing in the press. I want to start going to these individual chapters. Maria, I want to start with you, and I'm going to play just a snippet from your chapter. And hold on one second. Here we go. I needed some folk to give up on me. I know this sounds strange, but it's straight facts. My rational mind tells me that if some had not given up on me, I would never have progressed. I would have stayed stuck and continued feeling trapped. I wouldn't have tapped into my inner strength. I would have continued allowing people to keep me in a box. Listen, I needed people to give up on me. When I was editing this, I had to just stop and be like, I was like, that totally blew my entire mind, because I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Chill.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Maria, talk to us about that. Your chapter was When They Gave Up on Me. That's the title of your chapter. It sounds like somebody's movie or something like that.
Yeah.
When They Gave Up on Me.
I tried to grab y'all with that. That was my purpose. Like let me snatch them, let me grab them with it. I'm one of those people, like when I'm your friend to the end. It doesn't matter what you do to me, you mistreat me, it doesn't matter. I'm still your friend. And so that has caused me a lot of heartache in my life, a tremendous amount of heartache. And so, you know, I literally needed a lot of people to give up on me so that I could move forward, so that I would not continue to stay stuck. So, yeah.
So how did you come to that realization? Like, did you come to this realization before or after you were healed from the trauma of losing relationships, you know?
It was kind of in the midst of it. It was in the midst of it. It was like, you know, people kept just leaving, just dropping off, you know, and my life kept getting better.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean? I know that might sound crazy, but like as many people that they just dropped off and my life just kept going up higher and higher. And so that's when I came to the realization, like I needed this to happen. And now it hurt. It definitely hurt, but I needed it to happen. I feel like I had so many connections that were just toxic, just not good connections. You know what I mean? And so I needed a lot of folk to just give up on me and let me go so that I could fly. Seriously, so that I could fly.
What does that look like
Mhm.
when somebody gives up on you? Because a lot of times we think that it's this really big traumatic thing, and it's not always that.
Mhm.
But what does
Yeah.
that look like when somebody else gives up on you, or when somebody else releases you
Mhm.
from their life? What does that look like?
Yeah. It just depended. It varied from person to person. There were some people that let me go, that released me, and immediately things got better. And then there were some that, I had such a bond with, you know. I mean, I wrote about it in the chapter. I told them my innermost secrets, like they knew those parts of me that not everyone knew. And when they left my life, like it hurt. Lord knows it hurt. But I swear to you, life just got better. It was amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, I literally just thank God through it all, through the hurt, through the pain. I just said, Lord, I thank you. You know, sometimes I didn't know why I was thanking him, but I thanked him anyhow. But the end result was just amazing. I feel like had the people that let me go continued to hold on to me, I would have remained stuck. And I wouldn't have started to fly. I wouldn't have started to fly. So I'm grateful. I wish them well, though, like I wish them well, but over there,
But
over there,
but
yeah,
over there, I'm gonna bring the ladies
yeah.
on. Y'all, that first line, I needed people to give up on me. Y'all like I
Mm.
mean,
The entire chapter was fire. But if I can't, it's one part in particular
yeah.
that took me clean out of here. You said, God removed me from my position. It broke my heart, but I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was for my good. He let me
Yes,
know it
ma'am.
was going to happen the night before, and I didn't question it. If
Yes,
anything,
ma'am.
I was grateful for the revelation. Took me clean out
Yes,
of
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I was sitting on my balcony. That's my prayer. I'm pointing to it because I'm in my bedroom and it's off of my bedroom. But I was sitting out on that balcony and he let me know. And I didn't know what to do with it, but I was grateful that he let me know because I wasn't blindsided,
Mm,
when it happened that next day. Yeah,
here.
yeah,
grateful.
I remember when I saw that too. I
Mm.
was just like, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So how does, and this is for everybody that's here on the panel, how do you begin to recognize when a situation is toxic? Because I know for me in the past, I didn't realize that it was toxic until it was over. Until, and I'm talking about friendships, cousinships, you know what I mean? Other family ships. Like, I didn't realize how toxic it was until it was over. But how does one start to recognize when this is something that I need to myself intentionally walk away from this, so that you're not necessarily the one that's being let go of, but you are able to walk away yourself because you know it's just not right for you?
When you feel like you're on a hamster wheel. Yeah, so I mean, that's the only way. When you feel like you're on the hamster wheel, like you're just going around and around and around in the same circle. You're not really going anywhere. Like you're going as fast as you can, but you realize you're not going anywhere.
Mhm. Heaviness, just
Mm.
heaviness. Some certain people I go around even to this day, and it's just weight. It's just heavy. It's thick. I almost want to run. You know what I mean?
A
Can
lot of times you can pick up vibes around people, you can just pick up a vibe. When you walk in, it's just something about that atmosphere. You need to be around positive energy. So for me, when things are not right, it's like I can pick up a vibe. There's a shift in the atmosphere. There's a change in the atmosphere.
every time they come around, Cherie says, come on, Maria, you're speaking my language. When I'm your friend, I'm your friend. They
Mhm.
dropped off and my life kept getting better. Have you ever, I remember a few years ago, I had some people that ultimately they gave up on me. And well, it needed to happen, right? It definitely needed to happen. And I remember waiting for the other shoe to drop when I would be weighed down, depressed that they weren't there, and that time just never came. Y'all, this sun rays is like doing its job right now. Like I'm trying to like I try to close it, but y'all just gonna have to get the sun rays right now. But like that has never happened. Like what is really going on? But anyway, my life literally did just that. It kept getting better and better, and it was almost like the Lord was like, I had to remove them out of your life because they were a shackle to your feet and your growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it right there. That's it. Take the shackles off my feet so I can dance for real.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
Y'all, Kenya Hutchins over on Amazon says the heartache made me whole. Oh my Jesus. Devita, thoughts?
Listen, y'all not finna have me run around in here because I will. All right, I will. I'll start running around in here and I'll start dancing and shouting. I will. I promise I will.
You promise?
You get my shoes off.
You got your shoes off?
I do.
Angela, what are your thoughts? The heartache made me whole. Good Lord. Angela?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say, what are your thoughts behind that? The heartache made me whole.
The heartache made me whole.
And that's all right. That's all right. That's okay. The heartache made me whole. That thing hit me because I know experiencing heartache caused me to fall in God's arms.
Yes.
You know, it's like I was broken, but I fell straight into the arms of Jesus.
Yes, I would say last night, I will share some information with you. Last night, it's strange that you said you fell into God's arms, because last night I asked God for peace. And the song that came to me after I said my prayers, I always ask for a song, a vision, a scripture. And the song that was given to me last night was Safe in His Arms.
Mm.
And in every storm that we go through, if we know the shepherd, we're safe in his arms. But you gotta know who the shepherd is. See?
Mm.
And that's how we go through our storms. It's not us. It's not about, nothing's about us to begin with. You know, you gotta learn to let go and let God. You know. But that is the song that was given to me last night, Safe in His Arms. And to be honest with you, I was safe in His arms. I slept a whole lot longer this morning than what I usually do because I was at peace. So I was safe in His arms.
Mm.
Amen.
Yeah, you were safe in His arms. Elder Trina Bledsoe Ringgold said, when you are tolerated and not celebrated or appreciated.
Yes.
So that was the response to, how do you know when it's a good time? Like, when do you know you need to roll out? When you are tolerated, you're not celebrated or appreciated. And y'all, we know what it feels like to be just tolerated. I mean, I don't know how many times I used to have to talk myself into being in a situation. It's like, you know, when you're only tolerated, you know that. And so we got to stop lying to ourselves.
Yes.
And you need a good environment to thrive. Yeah, a good environment to thrive. Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, so Chantay, I wanna play a snippet of your chapter. Here we go.
Okay. When I think of strength, I often think of the many tests and trials that we face daily on this journey called life. My storm started as early as childhood. Low self-esteem, addiction, sexual abuse, rejection, self-sabotage, homelessness, bad relationships, and poverty. See, it was in those storms that I was able to assess where I was and where I was trying to go.
In those storms, I was trying to assess where I was and where I was trying to go. Talk to us about your chapter, Strength in the Test, Chantay.
My chapter, I've had a hard life. I went through various traumas, like from one extreme to the next. And it just seemed like one of those moments where you just can't catch a break, where you just like, if I could just get through this one, and just breathe. And it's like, as soon as you go to breathe, it's like, here goes something else. So that was like my childhood, a bunch of like traumas and just rage. So just to be where I'm at now and be in my right state of mind, because I know a lot of different people go through a lot of different things. And I've seen people, that commit suicide and different things from some of the same traumas that I faced. So the fact that I'm still here, able to talk about it and be able to help the next person, I'm very proud of that.
How does somebody, let's say that we have a friend or what have you, and we know that they're going through some stuff. How does one begin to recognize that something just isn't right? Maybe, like how do you, what are some things that we can look for? Because I think young people need to know this, but even us as adults need to know, like, what can we recognize when somebody is really going through something?
Absolutely. And that was me. I think most of the time in my adult life, I became what I needed as that hurting little girl. And even now, I still feel like I'm going through sessions of healings for various things, but I feel like I'm not where I once was. And now the fact that I know what I needed back then, so I try to be that for the next little girl or the next woman, because I mean, like you said, some adults are going through the same things now. And as we spoke about before, it tried to silence our voice. And the fact that we now still have our voices to be able to give a voice to those that may feel like that they're alone or may feel like they don't have a voice to put to what they're actually dealing with. So
Chantay, I know we heard the snippet, but you went through, you had to overcome low self-esteem, addictions, not, sexual abuse, rejection, self-sabotage, homelessness, bad relationships, poverty. What I really, when I say I enjoyed this list, I'm not saying that I enjoyed that you went through it. It's not that. What I enjoyed about your list were, a lot of times we look at storms as environmental, but not only did you name things that were happening around you and to you, but you also talked about those in the internal storms. Yes. That you went through. I want to know, how in the world does someone begin to pick up the pieces of addictions, sexual abuse, rejection, homelessness, right? Mm-hmm. Poverty. How does one start to really pick up the pieces and not just become bitter and narcissistic and just self-entitled? How does one start to do that?
You definitely have to face yourself. As I said, I was my own worst enemy. I had help probably around me all the time. But for one, I was afraid to ask for it because my trust in people had been shattered. So even if you were like close to me, I still wouldn't ask, for the help that I needed at the time. So I feel like that's what kept me going in those same cycles. That's what kept me going in those same patterns. I probably could have been free from them a long time ago, but because I decided to hold on, thinking it was, woe is me, it's just me going through it alone. So I just want them to feel like you're never alone and there is help. And I'm sure I probably sabotaged a lot of good relationships that probably could have helped me. But because I was dealing with those internal conflicts, that I didn't reach out the way that I should have.
Maya Foster picked up the line that you started with where you said, I became what I needed. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? I became what I needed.
Like I felt rejected. And although I had people around me that said that they loved me, you never felt like you were loved. You never felt like you belonged. You always felt alone. You just felt like, woe is me. It's just like you just felt like it was just you. And sometimes even you felt like God wasn't there. Because like I in part of my chapter, I say I was angry with God because I felt like he had even abandoned me. And while I know that's far from the truth, that's how I felt in those moments because of the fact. So like now, I know that, when I was hurting and going through those internal conflicts, I wanted sometimes just a hug, or I wanted someone to just sit and listen to me talk, without interrupting you or trying to make you see it, as though they want you to see it, and not necessarily listening to what you're actually going through. They're trying to piece it together the way they want to when they weren't there during your struggles. They don't know exactly what you faced. They don't know what type of upbringing you had or what your background was like or anything like that. So, I mean, while I understand there's people out there that could help you with your situation, sometimes someone just needs a listening ear. Someone might just need a hug. Someone might just need somebody to tell them, hey, you're beautiful. You know, you can make it. You know, those are all the things that we were looking for when we were those little girls crying inwardly, but we didn't have it.
But we didn't have it. Cassandra says coping with the numbness can easily become the norm. Was
Yes.
that your norm?
Yes. I thought if it wasn't toxic, that it wasn't normal. And it had to be toxic and like dark for me to accept it most of the time. Like I was function to dysfunction in a sense, you know, like I was immune to dysfunction. So it's like, as long as it was dysfunction going on, I was with it. If it seemed like anything positive, it's almost like I turned a deaf ear to it because I thought dysfunction was the norm. That's all I saw. So
I'm gonna bring everybody on here. So a couple of weeks ago, I came across this interview with this. She's actually a sex therapist, but I followed this one lady. But they were talking about relationships, and she said something really interesting. Like she said, if you meet somebody, you have those butterflies, you know how you find yourself like really enjoying somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, we have so much in common. You know what I'm talking about. Berman, her last name, Dr. Berman.
Oh yeah.
Yes, because I actually shared it and she was like, if you find yourself feeling like you have these butterflies and you're walking around saying, man, I feel like I've known them my whole life. She said that's actually your cue to run in the opposite direction. And she said the reason for that is because there is something on the inside of you that is connecting to like your pain in that other person. I've been wanting, like, what do y'all think about that? Because what you just said, Chantay, when you said you used to like you ran to what was dark, you ran to what was familiar. If it was healthy, like that was not the jam. So like, I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this, but I'm really interested to just hear what are your thoughts about that? Like that, I guess we connect to the trauma in the other person. What are your thoughts?
Trauma bonding. Trauma bonding. Oh yeah, that's in my chapter. I wrote about that. That's in the book.
So do you think that like chemically there's a way that we connect with other people before we even really know that this was a trauma bond? You think so, Devita? What are your thoughts?
I do. I think because sometimes we call ourselves being assigned to someone, thinking that we've been positioned to help them, when it's really you're helping them in a sense, right? But you're not helping them where you're hands-on. You're actually able to see who you once were in that person that may not be healed just yet. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get it conflicted, where they're thinking, oh, I'm supposed to help this person. No, sometimes before God elevates you or delivers you, he takes you back through a season where he's like, hey, this is where I pulled you out of. This is where you used to be, and this is where I'm bringing you to now. And it's not so much as you to go out there and try to help people. It's more so you can see your own evolution.
It looks like Cassandra even resonated with what you were saying, Chantay. She said, yes, Chantay, we're from that area. If it's easy, it's not for me. If it's easy, it's not for me. My God. Anybody else have to get over that? Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Addicted to
I think that sometimes we can see ourselves in others, our mistakes. We, like you said, we can't heal everybody, but sometimes we're put in a position where we meet somebody and the reflection that we get from them brings healing into our lives.
Yes.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
That's good. Well, then what happens when their reflection doesn't change?
Run.
Run for the hills, fast as you can.
That's true. Don't
hang around.
And I'll put it like this: you can't change anybody. Everybody has to change
themselves.
That's right. A person can talk to you about a situation that you're into, but it's going to be up to you. It's just like going to a counselor. Once you go to a counselor, you got to have a reality check in life. It's what do you want? What's important to you? They can sit there and listen at everything that's going on in your life. I'm speaking from experience. at one time I wanted to be a counselor. And during my counseling classes, what I learned is you're going to a counselor and you're paying them, but you need to face reality.
Yes.
Because once you go into that office, you know what the problem is.
Come on.
You know. So all they can do is sit there and listen to you. But until you decide that you want to do better and you want to change in your life, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You have to face reality. You got to face what it is. And that's when you're going to elevate. Until you learn to accept life for what it is, your shortcomings, you will not elevate until you learn to accept what is going on in your life. Because what's going on in your life is so real that you can touch it. You can't run from reality.
Run it. There you go. You
Can't
cannot
run from reality. You know, even though it hurts, we have fears. We're worried about what our neighbor's going to say. You know, we got to look out for us. What's best for us? And we need to do that reality check.
Come on, Miss Angela.
A reality check. Chantay, how did you begin to break yourself out of that dark cycle of chasing after the dark side? Like, how did you begin to break out of that?
Definitely finally doing as Miss Andrew was just saying, finally doing the work from inside out. So it's so easy to put like a Band-Aid on it, you know, type of thing. But we really have to face each one of those situations and come to grips with it, and then, you know, forgive ourselves. A lot of times we hold ourselves. We can forgive other people that hurt us, but then we hold ourselves and we don't forgive ourselves. So learn to forgive ourselves first and actually do the internal work. It's hard, but it's doable.
Yes,
love it. I love it. Succinct and to the point. You like, if y'all are not taking notes when all of these ladies are speaking, like, this is literally a counseling session right here. This looks like stay-at-home mom over on Amazon Live says absolutely they have to want to change for themselves. We can only give advice to people, and they have to want to make that change. Kenya Hutchins says, this is why I love the anthologies, because the devil loves to make us feel and become isolated in our own trials, setbacks, and pain. That's how he comes in with comparison, and we devalue ourselves based on experiences. We are never alone. We are never alone. I love that. Wow. Because y'all, Cassandra said, I manipulated my counselor for years. I didn't want to deal with certain issues.
That's right. And a lot of people do that.
It's easy to do. It's easy to do. It really is.
They only deal with what you say to them.
That's true.
You know, I think, you know, Chantay, something that you had also said, you know, you talked about the fact that you think you very well may have pushed away some really great people, you know, over your time. And I think all of us at some point in a relationship with someone, whether it's romantic or it could just be a friendship or whatever, sometimes we've had to come to terms with, okay, they are not changing. I love them. I can see what the issues are, but I have to leave for me.
That's true.
For the person that's having difficulty leaving, right? Because we see the potential in people, and we love to say, you're such a good person. And Chantay, somebody probably said that to you, like, if you could just get over yourself, right? Like, they probably said that, like, if you could just get over yourself, you would be so this, that, or the other. But there comes a point where we have to say, for me, I have to be out. I have to be out.
I mean, sometimes we can just want it more than they want it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, the reality is, you know, they got to want it. You can want it all you want, but until they want it for themselves, I mean, you're just spinning your wheels. You're wasting your time, you know, wasting your time.
Capri says facing reality is for a mature audience only.
And it is.
It is.
And it is.
It is. Like, life for me did not become better until I really, it was scary, but I had to face myself in the mirror and take responsibility for everything that I allowed. And then I had to forgive myself for what I allowed myself to go through. And that was hard.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, that was hard for me. That was hard for me. Angela, I want us to jump over to your video. Here we go.
Have you ever felt like something great was about to happen, and then suddenly you weren't so happy? Well, be careful what you pray about. It just might happen. Something was brewing, and it certainly was not tea. I could feel it in my spirit. However, I was wearing a mask to disguise my unhappiness.
What was brewing, Angela? Talk to us about your chapter. What was brewing?
There was a lot going on. I was forcing myself to go to work every day, just pushing myself through life. I've always pushed myself through life. I was doing things that I didn't really want to do, but I had to do out of obligation. And a lot of people that I met years ago, or that I meet often, they feel that I am strong. But nobody knows what goes on in the inside. Nobody knew about my life. They would just look at me and say, "Oh, you're the strong one." A lot of people would come around me, they'd come for advice, but they didn't realize that I was hurting also. At that particular moment, when I say something was brewing, I was working, but yet the atmosphere wasn't right. I was no longer fitting in. I was going to work every day with a mask on, trying to put a smile on my face. And sometimes, to be honest with you, I'd be crying on my way to work. And I did have one moment where I did cry so hard that I had to pull over to the side of the road and stop. But then I realized that it was time to move. It was time to leave there. But I didn't know how to leave because of fear. But every day when I went to work, I was being mistreated. A lot of work was being placed on me. Nobody had any answers. It seemed like an outcast. But on that particular day, I walked in and I was so unhappy. And everyone was looking at me. I'm like, what's going on in here? And nobody said anything. So everybody rushed out from work that day. But when I came out, I just threw my hands up and I asked God to deliver me because I was afraid that I couldn't do it on my own. So something was brewing, but I didn't know what. And I actually do believe that they wanted me to leave, but because of fear that I couldn't. But when I asked God for deliverance, He saw me through.
I love that. Chantay, who I believe is your daughter, says, fear equates to false evidence appearing to be real. When were you able to kind of kick that fear in the butt and get moving?
Yes, I was. I was ready for the change. I was ready. So on that particular day, when I'm going to say I got delivered, but on that day that I walked in and everybody was quiet that morning, it's like, here she comes, here she comes, Around noon, the boss calls me into the office and he says, well, work's done slacked up and I'm gonna have to let you go. That was a hallelujah moment for me because I was ready to go. So that was a hallelujah moment. And once I walked out that door, it was nothing but God. It was like a breath of fresh air. I went through a lot during that time, but through the grace of God, I held on. I mean, He took me into places that I never thought that I would be, but as Isaiah 40:31 says, those that have hope, and I had hope. They said those that have hope in the Lord will renew their strength. And He gave me that strength that I need to carry on. And I'll say that I'm still here today. And once again, I said, because I know, and I know who my shepherd is.
Come on.
I shall not want. You shall not want. So my chapter has a message in it.
Yes.
There's a message in my chapter. It's navigating through life. You got to know your foundation. Where is your foundation? Who do you put your trust in? And who can trust you? Can God trust you? When you're going through the storm, can God trust you? I've been through many storms, but I'm here to say I'm still here.
Amen. Still here, still here. There's this line that you say in the chapter, and it says, excuse me, during our lifetime, we are constantly under construction. In order to elevate, we must trust our journey no matter what path it leads us on. You said in order to elevate, we have to have faith. That's what you're saying.
That's right.
In order to even move from here to there, we have to have faith.
You got to have faith if it's no more than the size of a mustard seed. And I'm going to say my faith dwindles at times, but it always reminded me, God always reminded me, if you have faith, if it's no more than a mustard seed, he's got you. You got to trust and believe in God. You got to put your trust in the Lord, because he is the only one that helps you navigate when these storms are coming.
Yes.
You know? When I say something was brewing, it's just like a natural storm. A natural storm, you know, when they come up, you get that wind. You get that wind that starts to blow. And then the storm starts to roll, you know, starts to roll. But after the storm is over, there's always a calm after the storm. But you need to know your foundation. And if you don't know your foundation, you're going to be on that sinking sand. Don't put your hope in man. Don't put your trust in man. You don't want to be left out. You don't want to be on sinking sand. So I thank God that I knew how to navigate through the storm of my life. And I'm in a storm now. But I thank God, you know, never let go of his hand. Never let go of his hand. But know the navigator, and you're going to be fine. Know the navigator.
Know
the navigator.
That's the shirt, Miss.
It's not you. You're not navigating through your storm. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. You got to know who God is.
My God.
You got to know. And you're going to be all right. So know your navigator. Know your navigator.
I love
put your trust in him and let him trust you going through the storm. He's got to be able to trust you.
Let him trust
that you can go through the storm. That's right. Trust him. But more so, let him trust you.
Trust you. Woo! Angela?
Know God. And if you don't know him, you need to get to know him. Because he's the only one that can carry you through life. He's the only one.
Now, listen, friends who are tuned in. Miss Angela barely said anything during our meetings. I didn't know you had all this in there.
Yes, I do. A lot of people don't know that I have this in me. But yes, I do. And I'm grateful that at one time I was not an outspoken person. I've always been quiet, observant person. But God is dealing with me. I think you've seen on my Facebook page, some of you, where I said restoration. I woke up a couple of days ago and it said one word to me was restoration. Trust and believe. Ask and you shall receive restoration. God is on the move. I told my cousin, God is on the move.
He's on the move. Believe
God is on the move. Some people don't think that, as you said, I had all this in me.
Girl.
But yes, I did.
Y'all, Miss Angela came in here and just preached tonight.
She did.
You know,
she did.
I don't know what to say when it comes to that. I've been told that I'm going to be preaching. I've seen a vision of me speaking, just like I'm speaking now. I've seen that vision.
You just preached.
Sure did.
So that's what I'm told most of the time when I talk. That's what I'm told. I'm always preaching. That's what I've been telling here lately. When I speak to people, they say I preach to them. I say, so be it, God's will. Let it be.
But you know, when it's in you, it's in you. And I think what's important is that we have to have words stored up in us, because we have to speak to our storm. And the best way to speak to our storm is you speak God's words right back to that storm.
Yes.
I love how you went right to the word. You went right to Isaiah and you began to speak to the storm. That is important. That is so important. Maya said that's a Selah moment.
Yes.
Absolutely. Listen, I want to go to Devita's Devita's video.
You want me to go after Miss Angela?
Yeah.
Like,
Come on.
she done lit the stage on fire. You expect me to walk up on it?
Come on. God's got you. Come on. Come on.
Listen, and she's still talking to you. God's got it. Real quick though, y'all. Trust God, but He needs to be able to trust you.
Yes.
Oh my God, y'all.
I had to write that one down.
Yes.
I had to write that one down, Miss Angela.
All right. Thank you.
I love Miss Angela. Trust God, but He has to be able to trust you through the storm. My God. Trust you. Cassandra said she said what she said. I know that's right.
Thank you, Cassandra.
And then Miss
I
Angela.
mean what I said. I wasn't just saying it. I meant what I said.
Yeah, but then Miss Angela leaned back with it, y'all. She got the gangster lean with it.
Right.
Like Miss Angela's like, listen, take it or leave it. And if you leave it, don't you come back here for no more advice. Right?
No, no, I'm always available. I'm always available, you know.
Well, Miss Angela, I love it. I love it because there's wisdom there, and I love you telling it like it is. I love you telling it like it is, and it's been exciting to get to know you tonight because you said nothing. You didn't say anything. It's been fun getting to know you. I love this. Cassandra said you heard her. Yeah, we heard her, Cassandra. We heard her. Listen, Miss Angela, I'm not messing with her. We're not gonna mess with her at all. All right, Devita, I want to hear your snippet really fast.
Like most of us, I endured some pretty hard things during the height of the pandemic. 2020 was relaxing yet painful. Painful yet eye-opening. Eye-opening yet heartbreaking. Heartbreaking yet restorative. From June until August, I went on a binge of edibles and alcohol. I'm not proud of my actions, however, it's part of my story. I started partaking in these things as a method to avoid the pain I was feeling.
I really resonated with your story. I remember, first of all, let's let you talk. I'm gonna let you talk first. Talk to us about your storm. And this wasn't all of your storm, but this was a piece of what you talked about.
Yes. Yeah, it was a piece of it. I mean, 2020, I think for all of us, like we had to sit alone with ourselves. Regardless of who was in the home with us, we really had to sit alone with our thoughts. And the things that we were running from, we ran smack into them. At least I know I did it. And I did not like the things that I saw. And therefore, I just kept running. And even in, those binges, right? God came right in anyway. And do you desire to be well? Like, come on, really? Like I'm doing all of these things and yet you still love me enough to come in my mess and pick me up and take me out of it.
I know you kind of talked about the fact that some folks were kind of shocked that you had been going through that. Why do you think there was such a shock?
It was a shock because like Miss Angela, I was the strong one. And so because I never gave any indication that I was suffering, I never let anybody know what was going on. I'm very transparent, but I'm also closed off in my transparency as well. So I'll let you know what I want you to know, and I'll let you see what I want you to see. And that's what happened. I let people see what I wanted them to see because I knew for a fact that no one around me could help me. Like no one around me at that time could help me. And that was hard. That was painful because I allowed people to be in my life that I knew weren't supposed to be there and that they could never help me. And they weren't assigned or appointed to help me either.
My God. So what were they? Were they a distraction?
It was seat fillers. Because I wanted them to be there. I wanted them to be there. It was one of those things where I felt like, okay, I don't want to be alone. I don't quite really want to bring people in that I know can help me. I want to sit here for a little bit because I'm supposed to sit here for a little bit. And I don't want to have to walk through or go on this journey by myself. So I kept them there. And so God said, hey, you gotta come away because you're trying to pull people along with you that can't go. They really cannot go.
They couldn't go. I think a lot of times a lot of us have seat fillers, and the seat fillers, they're just they really distract. They really distract. They feed into what we're doing that we know we shouldn't be doing, right? I'm telling you, it was such I really resonated with that. I mean, I too was I am that person where I'm a good actress. So you're literally only going to see what I show you. You're only going to see that. If I don't want you to see it, I promise you will not. No, you won't. And I mean, I remember when my kids were younger. I mean, so many times I've had what you went through in 2020. I remember when my children were younger, searching for change in the couch so I could go and buy a big straw burrito because it was only $2. Like that is what I look forward to every day was okay. And and I could only drink a little bit of it, but it was something for me to control.
Yes.
And it was a means for me to get out the house. I was so dumb. Like, go take a walk, Tamika. You know what I mean? But I remember doing that. And I remember, and folks would have been like really surprised with me too. I remember having a moment where within these last 2 years also, where I sought after the alcohol. I sought after the edible. I went looking for it because for me, and I'm gonna tell you, I felt like I had been fasting. Well, I didn't fast. Let me stop. I wasn't fasting, but I'd been praying, right? Then I stopped praying. And I felt like I had been doing everything that I should have done spiritually. And when that did not work, I remember just like, I need to calm the voices in my head. And I went driving toward DC. Like I was on the road trying to find somebody that could get me edibles and a drink. I felt like that was my only solution. Yeah.
Yeah. But the crazy part is no one made me do anything. Like no one was that powerful enough in my circle at that time to make me do anything. I did it because I wanted to do it. And I think that's where folks were getting it kind of twisted a little bit because they thought, oh, so now she's blaming us. No, no, you didn't have that much power over me. I wanted to do it. I needed the great escape. And what better way than to escape into something that could make me feel, or so I thought, feel good temporarily. And again, and I can't stress this enough, even in my drunken stupor, even when, having the high, he came right in. He came right into my mess and was like, look, I understand it's scary. I know that what I'm asking or what I'm calling you to is scary and you can't bring these people with you. But do you desire to be well? Like, forget all of the other stuff. Do you desire to be well?
So the title of your chapter is Pies Cooling on the Windowsill.
Yes.
Talk to us about that. I loved this because I'm a cook. So
I'm a cook and a baker.
Go
and I love to do both. And when he gave me that, so honestly, he gave me that a while back. I just added to it because it resonated more with 2020 than when he gave it to me in 2018. And so I added what I went through in 2020 to that. The process, right? Like we are afraid of the process because it does require us waiting and waiting well and learning that process. And that was hard for me because I like to be in control. And so I could not control this. I had to wait. I had to wait for him to show me and give me direction, give me instruction on what I was to do next. I couldn't just feel my way through it or, pretend my way through it. I had to feel all of my feels and I had to go through every single part of the process. There was no cheating.
Y'all, the wait. What's the hardest part for you guys when it comes to being in the process?
I agree, the trying to control and then the false sense of perfectionism.
For me, it's not knowing what's coming next. It's the suspense. She said the wait, suspense.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on when she said no one around me at that time could help me. Like I remember that feeling. Woo, that hit different. That hit different.
It hurt real
Gosh,
bad.
that hit different.
It hurts real bad.
Gosh.
And I'm sure somebody sitting here listening, I mean, hopefully they are mature enough to hear that. Somebody that was in your life at that time, they're mature enough to hear that. You were not saying that to be nasty.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And you know what? And I make no apologies for what I said. And
No.
if anyone feels that it was a sneak diss, I'm going to ask that you heal, because has nothing to do with any one particular person. It had everything to do with me and me running and not answering the call. That is what all of this is about. I ran from the call. Me going into the drunken stupors and me doing the edibles and this, that, and the other was simply because I didn't want to answer the call. I was afraid. I didn't know what to expect. I know the call is massive on my life, and it scared me, and I didn't want any parts of it. Like, come on, like I could hear him talking to me. Even
that's the fear factor.
Those times. Even when I was drinking or when I was getting high, I could still hear him. I would hear him more. It was elevated. Quiet.
You're not get away from me.
I can't get away. That's how it felt.
He came in anyway.
He came in anyway.
He came in anyhow.
Yes.
Shoo.
And the way he came in, y'all, look, I didn't put this in the chapter because I was afraid to put this in the chapter because I was like, okay, people gonna think I'm nuts. And I remember when I went through that process, when he asked me if I desired to be well, one of the things that I would always be afraid of was my mental. And I remember him telling me, you will not lose your mind. Amen. Everything that I'm going to take you through, it's going to feel like it, but I promise you will not lose your mind. And he also told me, he said, people are going to later on say, oh, I knew something was wrong. He said, I assure you they did not. I assure you they did not know that you were going through anything. They didn't care enough to know that you were going through something. And that was my reality. I had to understand they didn't care. And they weren't supposed to care. They weren't
that
assigned
part.
In that regard. They were not
that
assigned
part.
In that regard. I wanted them to, but the reality was they weren't supposed to. It was too heavy and weighty for them.
What was it that Capri said earlier? I forget what she said about it was for mature audiences only.
Yes.
This right here is a mature conversation on both sides of the coin. For the person that's going through it at that moment, it's like you said, it's listen, they don't care enough to know, because people are consumed with their own stuff.
And
so when you say you didn't care enough, it's not like I'm trying to top your head off, but you didn't, because you got your own stuff that you're going through. You didn't care enough to step outside of what you were going through to see what I had going through. Some people legitimately just didn't care either. And then that's the part where I forget who it was, where you needed them to let you go. Yes. They didn't care, and the Lord needed you to see this isn't what you want. You know, but even the part so mature to me, just there was no one that could help me because you know it's about you. And it's all we get to a place where there's almost no point in us running to somebody else because there's literally nothing they can do.
Nothing you could do. There was nothing they could do. There was nothing, absolutely nothing they could do. They couldn't even hold my hand while I went through it. They weren't equipped to do that. They weren't even equipped to hold my hand. And it's okay. Now I can say it's okay because I understand now, right? But it's okay.
How hard was it to hear when the mentor said there are some people who don't care enough to know? How hard was it to hear that and to be able to move forward from that?
So I don't believe that it was it was confirmation to the revelation that I already had. I knew that these people were tag along because they had nothing else better to do. So they were just simply tagging along. I didn't want to believe that.
You better give folks the title from seat filler to the tag along. Listen,
they were tag
along. Absolutely.
They didn't want to come along. It was, okay, what you got going on? I don't have nothing else going on right now, so I'll come on and join you too.
Yes.
When they did it, they were anchors, right? I believe in the whole anchor and sail. They were anchors strategically placed to keep me where I was. The sails were supposed to blow on me to push me forward, but they anchored me. And that was the catalyst, right? Like you begin to understand if anchor is designed to keep you there. So if I dropped the anchor in that low place, I would have stayed. So I'm glad God blew his mighty wind and pushed me on, because it just wasn't it. That wasn't it.
My sister, your soul was anchored in God.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm so stuck on naming who people are. That's important. We had seat fillers. That's important to know who we need to know who's in our life. You have the seat filler, the tag along, and you have anchors.
And don't forget the spectators.
And you got the spectator. Like when you know who people are, you can put them in their proper place, and then you can set your expectations accordingly.
Yes.
Your seat filler is not supposed to feel like your salvation. Your tag along is not supposed to be your pusher. Like I've said that before. Like we have pushers, we got people that pull us along also, right? So your tag alongs are never going to be your pusher, because they're only going to push you into what seems interesting to them. So they're not your pushers, right? And then your anchors are never going to pull you across that finish line when you got the moment where you're feeling like giving up. Like your pullers are not going to do that for you. I mean, your anchors aren't, because they want to stay stagnant.
They want to stay stagnant.
They don't want you to grow. And your spectators legitimately could care less. They just want to have a good story to talk about.
They just want to have a good story. You really are who you say you are. And if you're not, they're going to come along with the camera, because people love doing this now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We also have to be accepting of who God shows who these people are. We ask sometimes for him to reveal it, and when he does, we don't accept it because of personal relationships or family relationships. So we have to be able to sever those ties when he shows us those things.
Yes.
Yes. So true. So true.
Absolutely. Look, Maya said, Devita, she said, Devita up there acting like you ain't have no fire in you, child, please. Come on here, yes. Chantel says there are parasites also who live on your energy.
Yes.
Come on, Chantel.
Yes, Chantel, yes. Yes.
Cassandra says, love this. Nubia says, not everyone is meant to be in your upper room. Oh my God. But again, back to what Chantay just said. When God shows you who they are,
believe.
You got to believe him and act accordingly. That goes back to what Angela said, which was trust God, but trust you in that storm. Y'all acting up tonight. Y'all are acting up tonight. Maya said, nor the inner court. Like
the inner court.
They cannot. People just cannot go with you. For the person that's tuned in here tonight, what do each of you have to say to the person that is dealing with their own storm? Any lasting words about how they can push through, get through whatever it is? Oh, hold on a second. Before that, sorry, this Devita, when you were talking about it, it kind of jumped in my spirit. In thinking, we're talking about storms, and we've been talking about how we go through our storms, and we've all kind of talked about how much of a mess we all were at some point during our storm. How important is it for us to understand when we're trying to jump into somebody else's storm and we are out of place?
Listen here. It's wise to not do that. It's wise to not get yourself caught up in somebody else's storm, especially when they don't realize that they've created a creative hell. And so when they have created that creative hell, and what I mean is I believe we design our own hell, and it's a mixture of the things that we don't want to let go of. It's the things that we actually struggle with, but we say we don't really struggle with it. It's okay to say I'm hurting. It's okay to say I'm struggling. It's okay to say I need help. Can you help me? And if the answer is no, move out of the way so that I can receive the help. We got to stop pulling people back when God is saying, come on, they got to get out of here. They got to go. We have to stop trying to pull people back and back into and throwing us back into our own creative hell. I strongly believe that sometimes you just got to do this.
I agree. And I feel that when someone's going through a storm, they just got to learn, like you say, to lay back, let go, and let God. Just turn it over. Just turn your storm over to God.
Turn your storm. How can you tell when somebody's actually in a storm? Because sometimes we think we're just being helpful, but sometimes, like you said, we create hell in our lives. Mm-hmm. We literally step in somebody else's mess that was never designed for us to be there. Like, everybody is legitimately not our assignment. And honestly, it doesn't even matter. I've come to learn it doesn't even matter if you possess the skill set to help. Everybody is not assigned to you.
They're not. I actually wrote a post about it this morning.
Did you?
I did. I wrote a post about it this morning. We have to be careful, because I know what used to catch me up was when I saw someone who had a similar story to mine. And I just wanted to swoop in and put my cape on and say, hey, I got you. And that wasn't the case, because some people, believe it or not, they like being in the storm. They like it. And so you have to be careful, because if you have this tornado going that you caused, that you did yourself, and I try to come in and help you, I'm the casualty. I could end up getting hurt. My healing can become undone. We have to be careful.
That's true.
Cassandra says, yes, please stop pulling me into their creative hell. Yes. Essence said, everyone is not my assignment. Note taken. Yes. Chantel says, some are assigned to you for good, for bad, yet balance is key.
Come on, Chantay. Listen.
Yeah. Somebody else, how can you recognize when somebody else is going through a storm that is not for you to get involved in?
Just discernment, really. Just using your discernment. Seriously. I mean, I used to try to just swoop in with my cape and save everybody. Everybody. No one was left out. I'm just gonna save the world. You know what I mean? At some point, I had so much hell in my life, I couldn't even sleep. You know what I mean? Just trying to save everybody.
Yes.
I couldn't even sleep at night. So, yeah, just trusting your discernment.
I really do think that we really minimize discernment a lot. And we overlook the power of peace a lot. And if there is not peace when it comes to a certain relationship, whatever it is, you need to check in with God and be like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I think that's important. Before we get out of here, so Devita, the other thing, you and I were up super early this morning. I don't know what was going on with either one of us, but you posted this morning. Be what the enemy fears. So we're all sitting here talking about I am stronger than the storm. And then you post this morning, be what the enemy fears. I want to ask everybody, and everybody, you'll have an opportunity to speak. We'll start with you, Devita. How do we become what the enemy fears? How do we even feel like we have the right to feel like we are someone the enemy should fear if we are in a storm?
So I for me, when I was going through my storm, God told me who I was supposed to be, who He was, where He was taking me. That picture actually depicts what He has shown me. And it's funny, I was telling my accountability partner earlier today, I said, I'm not afraid of what he's doing. I just want to know, is it going to hurt? Like that part, that looks like it hurts, right? It does. The lion coming out, like that looks like it hurts. But all jokes aside, I know what he has called me to, who I am in him. And so when I was going through the storm, I believed it. I did. I actually believed that greater was in me. I did believe that. I just didn't know how to pull it out. And I kept asking, like, well, who's going to cultivate this thing? Who's going to do this? You know, like I just wanted to know the hows and the whens and the whys, and I wanted to know all of the instructions. I wanted to know everything right then and there, but I had to wait. And that was the whole thing about the waiting and waiting well, and understanding that he was doing the work internally on the inside of me. And it started with my heart. He really had to change my heart, and he had to change my mind. But I knew I was destined for greatness. I just didn't know how to get it out.
I love that. Chantay, what about you? How does one move to this? Be what the enemy fears, even when they're going through something.
I would say definitely don't accept the identity that the storm puts on you. God made us fearfully and wonderfully made, and we have to stand on that no matter what we're going through. And sometimes when we were taking on those traumas, we took on the identity of it, not realizing that even in the midst of those storms, God still had us covered and protected. Yes. And he still called us beautiful. You know, he still made us to be those powerful women. And so I think like now that we're getting our true identities back, that we're able to bring out that roar, that lion from the inside.
Beautiful, beautiful. Don't accept the identity that the storm puts on us. Woo! I like that. Angela.
Well, I feel that God has created everybody to be unique. And it's how much you know about who you are in God, which makes you stronger and a force to be reckoned with. It's the great I am in the Lord.
Maria, you know you're the last one. Y'all, Maria's been back there taking notes. Like, I'm sure somebody's sitting here like, why is she writing? Y'all, she takes notes. Don't be offended. She likes to take notes. Like,
yeah, it's just my thing. It's my thing. So that be what the enemy fears. Just trusting God, knowing that he's going to bring you out, and then speaking those things as though they are. I believe, what is that? Romans 4:17. I want to say.
Let's check. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yep. Let me check.
Hold on. Y'all know I'm gonna go right to that word. Cassandra's usually right on it.
That's it.
So you're talking about speak those things that are not. We'll keep looking for it. We'll keep looking for it. Cassandra, is my Cassandra on here? Cassandra, I need you to find that scripture for me, please. Find that for me. Yes. So listen, before we go, for everyone that has been tuned in, we've been talking to the authors of I Am Stronger Than the Storm. We want you to get a copy of this book, okay? And I want you to get it from one of these ladies that they've been ministering to us tonight. They have given us the blueprint of how to navigate through our storms. And I mean, just so many different types of storms. Thank you, Cassandra. And so I want to go around to each one of you. Please let us know, how can we connect with you online, offline, what have you, and how can we purchase the book from you? I'm going to start with Devita.
I knew it. I knew it. Follow me on Instagram, Coach to Christian Counselor. The details for the book will be up on my website at www.newadventuresamejourney.com.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I definitely just threw you up there. Oh, I'm sorry. I had a moment trying to navigate through here. All right, y'all. You guys see that newadventuresamejourney.com, because I'm sorry, like I was bouncing through. We had a moment up here trying to navigate behind the scenes. Maria Jenka. Y'all, Maria has a new name for me every time I say her name. I'm sorry, y'all. She's used to it. Maria, tell us, how can we connect with you online? How can people purchase the book
Oh
from
God, I can't with you, Tamika. I
I'm
just can't with you.
sorry.
My Facebook author page is Maria Writes to Heal. My website, mariawritestoheal.com. And my cash app tag is money sign Maria Jenkins.
See, you should have said Jenka. Listen, Cassandra said Romans 4:17 is correct. And then Maya did get that for us. She says, as it is written, I have made you a father of many nations. He is our father in the sight of God, in whom he believed, the God who gives the life and death and calls into being things that were not. So that was the scripture for everyone that was wanting that. Thank you guys so much. I hurt my finger today, y'all. So I was trying to type and I was like, no, because my finger hurt. So thank you guys for doing the typing. Connect with Maria. Maria Writes to Heal, or Maria Jinx. I don't know why she didn't say Maria Jinx. Angela, we're gonna go to you, Miss Angela, Pastor Angela, missionary Angela,
Hey,
Apostle Angela. I'm just kidding. We're gonna go to you.
okay, I can be found at Angela Sullivan Facebook. Also, I can be connected through Angie Sullivan 0925 at gmail.com. And my cash app is $ ANGIETARUS 004.
Y'all, that is Angela Sullivan. Her cash app is Angie Torres. Like, for those who are like, okay, you spelling this for me, listen. Angie Torres 004. Y'all, like James
Yeah.
Bond. Yes. Like James Bond. Get that from Miss Angela Sullivan, y'all. And then Chantay West, we're gonna come to you.
Okay, you can find me on Facebook at Chantay West, also Chantay West author. And my cash app is the $ Ms. Realism 81, and that's with 2 Z's.
Ms. Realism 81. Listen, y'all, this tonight has just been, this has been good. Like I said, this was definitely like a counseling session. But believe quite a bit of you are counselors. Like Devita, I know you're a counselor. Maria, you have counseling background. Chantay, do you have counseling background?
Not necessarily, but in the mental health field. I mean, I feel like one sometimes.
Yeah, so you're in mental health. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Miss Angela, what about you?
I've taken some courses in counseling.
See, listen, y'all. So if y'all needed some type of healing, you got it both from the Christian side of things as well as the scientific side as well. Yeah, Cassandra, I saw it. The double the double $. I think who was that on? Was that Maria Jinx? Sorry. Yeah, I know that was my fault. That was my error, y'all. But y'all know it's Cash App, so there's only $1, friends. Only $1. Listen, y'all, this has been such a good evening. We are going to be back here this week. We're going to be back here on Thursday, July the 14th. And I'm going to be here with Chantay Pinnick, Burnett Hutchins Roberts, and Clarissa Stroud Kemp. And we are going to continue our series on Meet the Authors. So I definitely want you to be in the house. If you guys are in the ATL on Peachtree Street, y'all, go and see our billboard, okay? We are across from the Hard Rock Cafe, right above Chase and Wahlburgers. Hello, honey. Hello, somebody. You might have to wait a little bit because it's a digital billboard and it shifts and all those things. But baby, everybody in the ATL is seeing us in the ATL, okay? Man, that should be a rap. I'm gonna have to, like, somebody's got to give me some lyrics or something. Y'all know I always be trying to rap every time we do this. I don't know. I try to have bars. Stop to me. You know, like, y'all. No, that didn't tinkle. Anyway, like I thought I was gonna give the tink tink tink. It didn't do it. Devita got my back, y'all. Oh, God. Got my back talking about some bars. Guys to like rap the ATL. See, that's the makings of something great. See, I'm like, who was that? Who said that? Was that Angela? Who said it? They knew there was Devita. I just knew there was greatness on the inside of me. Huh? I knew it. Maria, when
I'm
you
doing
sat up here
absolutely.
laughing like I was not a rapper, I knew there was greatness on the inside of me. Stop playing.
Walk into your greatness, sis. Walk into your greatness.
Absolutely, with my church dress on. I'm gonna be right up there rapping with my church dress. Huh? That's
Oh my goodness.
Don't play with me, y'all. And my rhinestone earrings. We gonna do it like that. Finally, y'all, we've started the Anointed to Slay mentorship group. So if you are wanting to build your confidence, understand your purpose, we're gonna start doing some things around entrepreneurship eventually as well. AnointedToSlay.com. The open enrollment is available. Y'all, we started that last Wednesday.
Yes.
It was so good. It was so good. We started identifying there's so much going on. What do we identify, Devita?
Wait,
I know.
What was that, Chantay? Our weight. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Chantay. We were identifying the things that weigh us down. If you've been wondering why your confidence is low, a lot of times it's attached to the weights, right? And a lot of times our weights are what keep us anchored in the storm. And so it really is beautiful. And so if you guys are interested, thank you, Cassandra. She made sure to post that down. Wednesday is Anointed to Slay Day. It is a beautiful sisterhood that is already started. Devita and Chantay are there hanging out with us. Well, we don't even hang out, y'all. We minister to each other. It's been very beautiful. Listen, y'all, I love you. Remember, you were created to make God famous. I'm going to see everybody back here on Thursday, July 14th.
Yes.
Same time, same place. Can't wait to see y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. Bye over here on Facebook and the YouTube. And then over here on Amazon. Oh, y'all, I didn't even hit end. Bye.